station WDWL TV, located on the Grumpy Old Man Road, broadcasting live from Studio A. It's the Grumpy Old Man. Oh, wait a minute, that's me. And the Grumpy Vulture Show. Take your bow. Okay, look at the camera. There you go, both eyes. Friends, it's been an interesting day. First of all, I go to do brakes on the shitbox. And of course, I can only get half of the goddamn brake unit apart. I wanted to put the brand new rotors on with the brand new pads. Well, you know, I just hate these fucking mechanics that take their impact gun and turn it up to 7,000 pounds per square inch and run bolts up to tighten them. Needless to say, I didn't want to snap the damn bolts. So, all I ended up was putting pads on it. But, the pads were shot. So, I got half the job done. So I guess, come spring, I'll have to get my buddy to come over with his acetylene torches, and we're going to have to really heat them bolts up so I can get the cage off that holds the caliper. But I got the new pads on, got good brakes, so it'll get me through the winter. I don't drive that much anyway. Then, my buddy's wife calls me. And she says, "You're not going to believe this." I said, "Well, try me." She had to get her small carry-on suitcase out of the storeroom in the basement. She gets the suitcase upstairs on the bed, unzips it, and she says, "What's inside?" Another microphone. I was like, "You're kidding me." She says, "No," and she goes, "You're going to love it because they're colors." I said, "Colors?" I said, "Most microphones are either silver or black or gold." She goes, "Oh, no, you're going to love these." And she goes, "It's another MXL. She goes, "You want to know what color they are?" I said, No, don't ruin the surprise." So, evidently, these must be I'm thinking collector's edition microphones, the way he had them hidden away. Because they weren't in his studio with the rest of the other mics and all the equipment. The one she found yesterday was hidden on a shelf behind a bunch of boxes. Then the one she finds today was inside a carry-on suitcase. He's got microphones stashed all over the place, I guess. So, she's not going to be back until sometime next week, which is no big deal. Although, now she's really got me. I'm like a little kid, like, "Oh, I want to see him, I want to see him, I want to see him." I'm wondering how many more microphones he's got stashed in that storeroom. Her and I got to talking, although I didn't want to talk too long because she had to get her carry-on suitcase packed so she could get to the airport. She says when she comes back from her little short vacation, she's going to go through that storeroom section by section by section and see if there's any more microphones hidden in that storeroom. But the only thing I can figure, and I told her, I said, evidently, these must be limited edition collector's microphones that he had them hidden away. Because he had a shitload of microphones in his studio. Yeah, like I said, if one is good, two is better, and three is even top notch. And he was a type where he had a lot of doubles, but he was also the type where if something caught his eye, he bought it. And that's what I'm thinking with these microphones. Evidently, they must be like limited edition collector's mics that I don't know if he was ever planning on using them. I am. Because if MXLs are top of the line microphones, they're really good. Like you say, the one that I've got under the desk, it is $699. So I have no idea these two that she found. But once I get them here, I'll price them out. And this is, I mean, my buddy didn't smoke, he didn't drink, he didn't gamble. They did vacation, but nothing extravagant. His hobby was microphones. It's obvious by what he had in his studio. And I mean, he didn't do a lot of YouTube broadcasting. And when he did, he would be talking about the newest microphone that he got. Now, I went through some of his YouTube stuff, and I have no idea. None of the microphones that he was talking about were limited edition or in color, except for the one I got under the desk, the white one. This is going to be interesting. I can't wait. Oh, boy. Yeah. Matter of fact, she told me, she goes, I don't know what I'm looking at. I says, what do you mean? She says, well, alongside the microphone in the suitcase, it looks like a bird cage. I said, a bird cage? She goes, well, it's got, looks like elastic strings, and it's got like triangles. I said, oh, that's a shock mount. I says, evidently he must have tried this microphone out, or it came with a shock mount. Some mics do, some don't. And if the two mics are identical, then I don't have to buy a shock mount because I can swap mics back and forth. The only thing I'll have to do is get another, I didn't think, when I was over there to grab XLR cables, Maybe you'll have some. Although she did say that her son and her son-in-law kind of like cleaned out the studio. I just got a red flash on the screen. I hope I'm not shut off again. Although last night when it said I was disconnected and reconnected, yeah, I lost about 5 to 10 seconds of broadcast. It looks real strange when I'm talking about one thing and the next thing you know, I'm talking about something else. I don't know what's going on. I hate to try to learn a new streaming program. And I got friends that are telling me, well, go with Restream or go with Streamlab. No, I need a program for a dummy. That was this. I'm having a hard enough time running this, let alone learn a new program. And I can't understand what happened with my instant graham cracker. I think I got kicked off. But no big deal. I'm still on 2 platforms. Faceplant and Useless Tube. Man, have I got dry mouth tonight. So it's going to be real interesting when she comes back from vacation. I told her, I says, I'll be counting the days. She's only going for a week. She's visiting an old high school friend. I said, well, I know what that's like. I visit some of my high school friends too. So I told her, enjoy yourself. And when she gets back, don't be in a big hurry to get me the microphones. But as soon as she calls, there'll be flames coming off my tires heading over to her house to pick up them microphones. I says to her, I says, you want some help going through the storeroom? She goes, no. Damn it. I can almost imagine. If he's got 2 hidden in there, there's got to be more. And especially hiding one in a carry-on suitcase. He didn't want those to be found for some reason. And I don't understand it because, he knew it was going to be mainly me going through his equipment. And then his neighbor down the street, and then his son and his son-in-law. So I don't know why he's got them hidden, unless the only thing I can figure, he hid them for me, knowing sooner or later his wife would find them, because there's no reason for his son and son-in-law to look through this storeroom. It's their laundry room / he had a workbench in there, and so the only place everybody would be heading is his studio. And then I didn't talk about being a dummy. When I was over there, he had one of those retro 1950s on-air signs outside the door of his studio. And I didn't think to grab it. Of course, it's gone now. But it was neat. Teach me not to pay attention. And I looked at it when I was there and I was like, oh, should I take it? No. Yes. I get home, I'm like, damn it, I should have grabbed it. And I know it's gone. I think his son's got it down in his rec room in his house. But see, his son and his son-in-law don't have YouTube channels. They don't, they're not into that stuff. So how they're disposing of all of his microphones and electronic equipment, I don't know. God, I hope they're not dumping it at Goodwill. Oh. I told him, I said, I would list it all on eBay. At least get somewhat what it's worth. You take it to Goodwill, you're not going to get nothing. And they don't know what they got. They open the box and go, oh, microphones, $5, $6. Although, at one time, there was an employee at the Salvation Army that knew prices of electronic items. So, if they would get microphones and stuff donated, he would price it decently. But, even Goodwill, God, if they think something's worth something, they price it almost factory price. There was a guy last summer, 2 summers ago. He donated his whole die-cast car collection to Goodwill. Now, I collect, or used to collect, die-cast cars, 1/18 scale. That's what these were. So, a friend of mine called and he goes, oh, you ought to see what they got, So I drove out there. They had them priced almost for what I would pay retail if I was buying them from a manufacturer. I says to the guy, he says, you expect to sell these at those prices? He goes, well, we sell 1 or 2 now and then. I was like, well. And then the stupid idiots, they took them out of the boxes. If you're going to have a collector's piece, you don't take it out of the box. Yeah, they took them out of the box and threw the boxes away. They said, well, you couldn't really see the whole car, in the box. And most of the stuff that they had, I already had, so. Yeah, one of these days, I keep saying one of these days I'm going to go through the boxes. A friend of mine ordered me, now it's a 124 scale, it's not the big 118, a Cleveland police car, black and white, which we no longer have black and whites. And when I moved, I didn't pack it with the rest of the die-cast. You think I can figure out what box that thing is in? Because I want to put it up on the wall here. Nope, can't find it. So I'm going to end up having to go through every box. I should have marked on there. Or what I should have done was just boxed it separately and brought it with my bedroom stuff. Then I would have known where it was at. But it's safe in one of the boxes out there. I just hate the thought of unpacking all them cars to look for one. If I had the room, they would look neat in the studio. But I don't have any of those display cases anymore. Back, quite a while back, well, when I was in my compartment in Lakewood, my whole living room was nothing but die-cast cars, floor to ceiling. And then when I moved, I wasn't about to lug all those display racks and that. I just, I told my landlord, do what you want with them. Donate them to Goodwill. Throw them in the trash. Was a pain in the ass packing all the cars, let alone having to dismantle display racks. Talk about a lot of money tied up in die-cast. And then I was planning, it's always, you watch the market and you see the prices going up and up and up. And I was like, oh, good. The way the market's going, I'm going to make some money off of these when I sell them. Yeah, Grumpy's luck. Market crashed. Now on eBay, they're not even getting close to what I paid for most of them. Because, the younger generation, they're not into that. They look at die-cast cars like, what do you do with it? Well, you display it. That's it? Well, yeah. Then what do you do with them? Well, you look at them. And then 3-4 times a year, you dust them. It used to take me a week to dust my die-cast car collection. Needless to say, that's why they're in the boxes. Because I'm not going to spend a week dusting die-cast metal cars. And then, talk about how OCD Grumpy is. I had a whole basket full of makeup brushes, all different sizes, you name it. That's how I dusted all my die-cast. Little, like what they call eyebrow brushes, to get in and clean the dust off the dashboards. Yeah. Matter of fact, I got one here. I dust the mixer with it. Look at that makeup brush. And it's soft as a baby's ass. Yeah. That's the kind of shit that I would buy to dust my die-cast collection. I've got them in every size, shape, color, you name it. Yeah. Talk about somebody that when you're really bored, what do you do at home? You take your die-cast collection and you dust it. It goes to show how hard up I was. Yeah. One car at a time. Oh, there's dust on the dashboard. Get the little tiny brush out. Yeah. Then they wonder why I'm so screwed up. But it looked, actually, when you would walk into my living room and my dining room, it looked like a store. I looked like a hobby shop, the way they display and things. I want number 47. Okay, Oh, yeah, it was cars. Well, cars, trucks, race cars, stuff like that. Floor to ceiling. One of these days, matter of fact, the one box it's right out in the open. It's old checker taxi cabs. I'll unwrap them and bring them in someday. They are cool. Kids are going, checker, taxi cab, what's that? gargle it, checker. They used to manufacture mainly taxi cabs. They did sell to the general public, but 90% of their production was taxi cabs. They were the ugliest looking cars, I'll tell you what. But they were built for longevity. You couldn't kill a checker. Oh, geez. The only problem is they were too late in redesigning their cars because they were like boxes, squared off front, squared off rear, and I don't know what their engineers and designers were thinking, but they basically didn't come into the new millennium, and by the time they had some prototypes, they were losing so damn much money because then taxi fleets went to Crown Vics, and a lot of taxi fleets just went to auctions and bought old police cars and repainted them. But yeah, checker. I remember in middle school, my math teacher had a checker. And she basically bought it because of the longevity. But if you had to know, her name was Miss Bickamer. Yeah, Miss Bickamer. You had to know Miss Bickamer. And buying a checker made sense. Like you say, she was the only person I ever knew that bought a checker. And she only drove it on the weekends because she lived down just half a block from the school, so she would walk to school. But Saturday, grocery shopping, Sunday to church, and then back in the garage for the rest of the week. Yeah, it was a black one. A jet black checker. I couldn't believe it. One Saturday, I'm driving through the parking lot, leaving the grocery store, and I spot Miss Bickamer. So I looped around the aisle because I kind of wanted to see, what Miss Bickamer was driving. Sometimes these bookworm type teachers, are driving fucking Corvettes. They really trick you. So as I looped around the aisle, I see her loading groceries in the trunk. And then I pulled up closer and I was like, well, that makes sense. Miss Bickamer's driving a checker. Yeah. But like I say, sometime these teachers that look like, Miss McGillicuddy from The Little Rascals are driving fucking Corvettes or Lamborghinis, No, Miss Bickamer in her checker. I always wonder what happened to it after she passed on. I would hate to think it got scrapped. I seriously doubt it. God, the car looked like brand fucking new. I hope she had a relative that, kept it and drove it. Although, A checker was definitely not a chick magnet car, I'll tell you that. You didn't see some young upcoming, executive driving a fucking checker. But if you knew Miss Bickamer, the checker made sense. God, that car probably didn't have 10,000 miles on it. Because the grocery store was only like 5 blocks away. And the church was 4 blocks away. I can't see her, going out for a Sunday afternoon cruise out in farm country. She was too much of a penny pincher. I would have loved to have the checker. I don't know what I'd done with it, but I would have loved to have it. Especially as low mileage that the thing had to have on it. But like I say, you had to know Miss Bickamer. And then the checker made sense. Oh, she was frugal. Oh, yeah. Some of the stories I heard. Her and her sister lived together. Neither one was ever married. And both were frugal as shit. I heard one story where her and her sister made their own soap. Come on, bar of soap wasn't that expensive. It cost you more to make the fucking soap. But yeah. And she had a wringer washer and hung her laundry out. No dryer. No. Uses too much electricity. I could almost imagine. She probably didn't own a TV. Probably had a 50-year-old RCA radio. I would love to see what kind of furniture she had in her house. Probably orange crates. Oh yeah, I heard she was frugal as can be. She squeezed a nickel till the buffalo cried, But when I saw that checker, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Back in my junior high school days. Kind of scary thought when you come down to it. Yeah, all of her clothing looked like it was from the 40s and 50s. I don't think she bought anything new. Probably got all her clothing at Goodwill. But yeah, she was a trip. What? Gargle it. Wants to know what a checker is. It's not a game. It's a car. Was a car. A shoebox. Every taxi company had fleets of checkers. At Cleveland, we had yellow cab. They were all painted yellow. And then we had zone cab. And they were painted green and white. Yeah, they used to be down on West 3rd. You would see checkers for as far as the eye could see. Yellow on one side, green and white on the other. It used to be neat seeing them lined up on Public Square. That's when taxi cabs were big back in the day. Yeah. You'd come out of Terminal Tower a.k.a. Tower City, and there would be taxi cabs lined up for as far as you could see. Yellow ones and green and white ones. And then slowly, I don't know what happened. Taxi companies kind of fell out of popularity. Now we have Ace Cab. It's amazing we still have taxi cabs. There's a guy a couple streets over, him and his wife. They drive taxi. They take them home. They're parked in their driveway. I never see them move much, but they're parked in the driveway. But you know, Uber and Lyft, they put the taxi companies out of business. You get, you know, a nicer car, not a bunch of fucking writing up and down the doors, you know. Neater dressed drivers. But some taxis are still hanging on by the skin of their teeth. How did we get from brake job and microphones to fucking taxi cabs? Oh yeah, Miss Bickamer with her checker, her black checker. There used to be a deal. I'm get off the taxi cab shit and the checkers. There was a dealership right as you entered Berea. You got off at 237, and as you entered the city of Berea, on the right-hand side was a checker dealership. I'll have to take a ride out there one day and see if the building is still standing. But yeah, it was a checker dealer. The only one I ever saw. Although, with them not being too popular, you didn't find a checker dealer on every street corner. But yeah, there was one in Berea, 237 and Front Street, on the right-hand side. Checker. I always wanted to stop in there, and then it was too late. They went bankrupt. Typical grumpy. Sit there and go, oh, I'll check them out one day. Too late. Yeah, that's what Berea was known for. The only checker dealer within probably 200 miles or more. Then there was I'm still on the fucking checkers. There was a collectors organization, was called Blue Moon Motors. They were down in southern Ohio. The guy bought up every fucking checker he could get his hands on, and then had a secondhand checker dealership. But yeah, I don't know if they're still there. I haven't seen a checker in years. Although they used to have some neat ones out at the airport. They were super stretched. They had like 12 doors on them, 6 on each side. They called it an aero cab. A checker aero cab. They could load up a shitload of people and take off with them. Now that would have been neat to have. A checker aero cab. Okay. Enough of the checkers. Yeah. He's jabbering over here. Get off the checkers already. Well, I told you, you get a little history when you're listening to Grumpy. something you can gargle. Checker. Checker Motors. Checker taxi cabs. Tell Siri you want to see pictures of checkers. And not the game checkers. Be specific. Say, Siri, I want to see pictures of checker taxi cabs. And then Siri will bring you a bunch of pictures up. And then you can go show all your BFFs. Say, look what they had in the prehistoric days. These ugly motherfucking cars. Oh, they were. That's why I say, when it come time to redesign the cars for the new millennium, they were way too late. And then, they filed for bankruptcy. Of course, like I say, there weren't people dashing to the local checker dealer to buy one. Except Miss Bickamer and her black checker. It had tan cloth interior. Yeah, I had to get out and look at it. I couldn't believe what she was driving. I was looking on the dash for the meter. I figured, she was running the taxi service after school. No meter on the dash. But yeah, that car couldn't have had 10,000 miles on it, being 50 years old. I don't know if she had any nieces or nephews, although I don't think they were fighting over the will to see who got left the checker. Knowing Miss Bickamer, she donated it somewhere. But it was jet black, tan cloth interior, ultra low mileage, only driven twice a week. Grocery shopping on Saturday, church on Sunday. And we only went 5 blocks one way, 5 blocks the other way. Then it got parked in the garage. And it didn't get driven until the following Saturday. So it couldn't have had many miles. Although I don't think anybody was fighting over the car. It amazes me, as reliable as they were, why a police department didn't buy a fleet of them. They were boxy, roomy, had longevity. You never saw a checker with a set of roof lights and a siren. But if a police department wanted cars for longevity, those were the ones they should have bought. Have a whole fleet of checkers. The only city that everybody laughed at. Oh, look what they got for police cars. Checkers. But it would have made sense. You can see the way I think. What's this? First it tells me my YouTube stream is excellent. Then it tells me there's not enough video frames per minute. The playback could look interesting tonight. At least it didn't tell me I've been disconnected. Problem is, it's just a little box that flashes in the corner. And if you're not looking at it right away, by the time you look at it, it disappears. But it wasn't a red one. If a red box flashes, that means trouble. Now it's telling my YouTube stream is excellent. I wish Prism would make up its goddamn mind. Ugh. So, I got partial brakes. Well, I got pads. Luckily, the rotors were still pretty decent. I didn't have to worry about it. But man, if I'd had a scored rotor, I'd have never got the goddamn thing off. Now I got, see, the Nissan, usually on a disc brake, the caliper just bolts to a flange and it goes over the rotor. Oh, no, not Nissan. You have a cage, and then the caliper goes inside the cage. Well, I was able to get the caliper off. I couldn't get the cage off. Because you got to get the cage off so you can pull the hub assembly. They ain't make it easy. And whoever did brakes on this thing, who knows when, they used an impact gun at 100,000 pounds per square inch. And it would have been my luck, I'd have snapped a bolt in half. So they got to be heated with an acetylene torch to get them nice and hot. And then, so that's the job for spring. Order another set of pads, because I don't want to reuse them. Put the new rotors on, put the new pads on, put everything together. But at least I got new pads. I'll have decent brake for the winter. I drive even less in the winter than I drive now. For two reasons. One, if it's snowy, I hate driving in the snow. And two, I hate being cold. Nothing like getting in and sitting down, freezing to death until the heater comes on. Although I do have to say, this truck has a dynamite heater. Once the engine heats up, I don't have to run the fan on high and keep it all the way on hot. It's toasty. But it's just getting it to that point. I hate coming out when it's, 30 degrees outside, getting in the, plop your ass down on a cold seat. Oh, no. I need somebody to preheat my car for me. Although, I could dash out, start it, come back in the house, have a cup of coffee, and then the truck can be nice and warm. I don't like wasting gasoline, though. I know you can't have it both ways, Grumpy. Oh, I don't know why I'm talking about goddamn cold weather and snow. Oh. We have two seasons in Cleveland. Winter and more winter. We really didn't have a hot summer. I don't know if we hit 90 this summer. And it was too short. And now we're getting into crappy fall weather. Everybody says, why don't you go to Florida? They won't let me down there. They have enough assholes down there now. They don't need another one. Yeah, all the idiots go to Florida. Maybe I should go to Arizona. Get some of that 120-degree heat. Yeah, I got a friend lives in Arizona. She said last summer they were dying out there. They had almost a whole month of heat, over 100 degrees. I was like, holy shit. And neither of my vehicles have air conditioning. I'd be like a roasted sausage inside my vehicles. Yeah, she tells me, you almost, it's like mandatory to have AC everywhere. Your car, your house, your garage. Yeah. I can't imagine 120 degrees in the shade. Boy, it's gotta be a bitch at the mall. Get in your car, grab your steering wheel, you leave all the skin from your hands on it. Not for me, no. I don't know, if somebody said, I'll move you for free and find you a place to live, where would you go? I don't know. My uncle lived in Florida. He was kind of so-so about it. Yeah, he retired. It was like, oh, we're going to move to Florida. Then they moved down there, and he was like, I really made a mistake down here. And then my friend in Arizona, I wouldn't go to California, too fucking expensive. I don't know where I'd go. Although nobody's going to offer to move me anywhere for free. So, I guess I'll stay here. Too much of a pain in the ass setting a new studio up, too. Hell, I'm having a hard enough time trying to figure out how we're going to... We did little modification on the background in Studio B. We got about halfway through it, and I went, no. I really can't figure out how I want to do it. Now, this is coming along. I got more signs coming, believe me. Oh, but wait until you see the gasoline and the auto service signs. Oh, I have a shitload coming. This is going to be neat back here. But for Studio B, I can't figure out. I was thinking of making it look like a newsroom. I have enough monitors and computers to do it. Still kicking that idea around. Studio B be a newsroom. Grumpy News. And then have everything else over here in Studio A. So, I'm still trying to figure out that studio over there. But I like over here anyway. It's old school. Old style microphones, XLR cables, mixers. None of that USB stuff. Like the little tiki mic for my laptop. It was kind of cool. It was a cute little microphone. But you can't see it. I like to see. It looks official when you're sitting behind a microphone. Although, I can't wait till next week. Oh, driving me crazy trying to figure out what those two microphones are. And they're in color. Not normal color. Not black. Not not white. She almost told me. I was like, oh, don't ruin it, don't ruin it. So, you will be the first to see them as soon as I get them. And with that, I think it's time to figure out dinner. Yeah, I'm a late eater. Always have been. I had kibasi and sauerkraut last night. Oh, was it good? I could do kibasi and sauerkraut once a week. I love it. Maybe. Oh, I still have, I have my bacon encrusted turkey. I still have some left. I think that's what it'll be tonight. I've got the rye bread still fresh. Yeah. What do you think? Bacon encrusted turkey? No, it don't taste like roadkill. Goofy ass bird. Is that all you think of? Well, that's his menu. You don't see a vulture in a 5-star restaurant, especially like out in Africa. Poor elephant falls over dead. Him and the whole family. That's the only time they have a family reunion. When a large animal decides to drop in its tracks. And then they're like, okay, coming in for a landing. And then they all fight for the same bite. Yeah. I've seen you and your relatives. Got this big 3,000-pound elephant. They all got to fight for up here, you know. You don't see them down here. No, they're all fighting up here. Glad I'm not a vulture. I wouldn't look good looking like that. Say what? Well, no, you wouldn't look good looking like me either, so we're even. How's your lava lamp? Is it lava-ing? Oh, look. Here goes. Oh, it's lava-ing. Look at that. Oh, here we go. Slowly rising. Slowly. Didn't make it to the top. Okay, here we go. Here's another one. Is it going to make it to the top? Dun 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 dun. Almost. The lavas are too big. Need smaller ones to make it all the way to the top. Those didn't even make it halfway. But at least it's lava-ing. I don't have to buy a new bulb. Maybe next week I'll bring the one in I have in my bedroom. It looks like a volcano. It's orange and brown, got neat lava. It's bigger than that one too. I'll bring that one in. We'll see a real lava lamp. These are reproductions. These aren't like we had back in the 70s. Oh, we had some neat ones in the 70s. Matter of fact, I had a big one. It was like 3 times the size of that. It was about that big around. Looked like a spotlight in the bottom of it. I don't know ever what happened to that one. I think somebody stole it. See, that's the problem you have when people help you move. They help you move, and then they help themselves to your stuff. And by the time you unpack it, it's too late. You're like, oh, where did that thing? Too late. Plus, you don't know who stole it. You can't go accusing everybody, but yeah. When I moved here, somebody helped themselves to my brand new angle grinder. I had to buy another one. I didn't know it was missing until I needed to use it, and I was like, where's that angle grinder? At somebody else's house. Yeah, somebody helped themselves to it. Brand new angle grinder. So I had to buy another one. And then I had to put the job off that I was doing to wait for the angle grinder to get here. But yeah, that's the problem when you get free help. Oh, we'll help you move. And then when you turn your back, they're like, and we'll help ourselves to your stuff. That's why I moved my stereo and all my precious 45s and 33 LPs. I didn't need nobody helping themselves to my record collection or my stereo collection. Yeah, I still have my component stereo from the 70s. And it works like new. Maybe one day I'll get my GoPro camera out and I'll show you what it looks like. And then maybe I'll play it. You can hear my Radio Shack Mach 1 speakers. Matter of fact, I'll tell you the story about them. I think I told it once before, but it's been a long time. You'll love it. Matter of fact, I'll write that down. Maybe that's tomorrow night's show. How I acquired my Mach 1 speakers from Radio Shack. I know, everybody's going, Radio Shack? Gargle it. Tell Siri, what was Radio Shack? That's all you youngsters. That's your assignment for tonight. Gargle Radio Shack. A Tandy company. There'll be a quiz tomorrow. And with that, it's time to fix dinner. I will chat with you tomorrow.